Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to the channel. Dylan here. We have a major bombshell today about Ilhan Omar. She is done. Okay? We are exposing the truth today about Ilhan Omar. A representative just came out and says that she should be fired immediately, my friends. This is breaking news with Ilhan Omar. We have a lot to discuss today, but I wanted to make sure that we get this seen to the world. So make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and stay till the end, the very end of the video. That tells YouTube that this is a good video that needs to be shown to more people. It really helps out the channel. Breaking news. Representative Tom Emmer just came out and said Representative Ilhan Omar is a con artist and that she should be fired. Comment below if you agree that she should be fired. Let's listen in.
But I think when Nick Shirley went to the daycare center, there were no kids there, just a missing letter. But what do you make of Congresswoman Ilhan Omar? She's worried that perhaps migrants might not feel as comfortable committing fraud with increased scrutiny. I can't imagine you're very sympathetic.
No, Ilhan Omar is a complete fraud. It's amazing what kind of a con artist this woman is. She goes on national TV and she tries to play the victim and she tries to sound reasonable. And in reality, she's one of the most hateful, racist, anti-Semites you're going to meet. This woman was right at the center of the Somali fraudsters that resulted in anywhere from $9 billion or more in fraud in my state. And now she's trying to suggest that somehow, they are being impacted. They're being impacted by her. They're being impacted by these Democrats who have allowed the fraudsters to run wild in my state. And by the way, when we talk about Ms. Omar, I mean, she went from 65,000 net worth that she was reporting on her congressional disclosures to reporting over 30 million in net worth in just a few years. And guess what? Now she comes out and says, that was a mistake on our disclosures. I just took a quick look at it and missed it. You know, not only should her accountant be fired, but that girl should be fired, and she does not deserve to be in Congress. Quite frankly, if she is...
And you know, normal people like you and me, if we make a mistake on our IRS form, we don't pay enough taxes, guess what? We get in trouble. But not Ilhan Omar. Oh, I made a tax mistake. Oh, I'm worth tens of millions of dollars now, even though I'm a public servant, and she hates America.
Discovered to be involved in any of this fraud personally, that she benefited from it, even by her actions of promoting it and trying to resist investigations. She should be held accountable to the fullest extent.
We don't want representatives who are con artists, and Ilhan Omar, she's not somebody that we trust. She also talks so much crap on good people. She talks so much crap about Charlie Kirk, for instance. Okay, here's Doug in Exile. He says, Ilhan Omar turns into an octopus to grab Marjorie Taylor Greene. Let's tune in. I will have Doug's channel linked below, my friends.
Well, Marjorie Taylor Greene is almost in her final Pokemon form. She's almost evolved to her final form and become a full-blown Democrat. Ilhan Omar says they should embrace Marjorie Taylor Greene. Welcome to Doug in Exile. This is where the Happy Patriots are. Part of why we're happy is we ditched Marjorie Taylor Greene. She turned against MAGA, but this is a sign, guys. This is a sign to all of your anti-war friends who hate the Jews so much that they will cover up for the Iranian, that satanic republic that abuses women, kills Christians, marries 9-year-old girls. They'll cover for them. They say, please don't attack them, Trump. Keep them in control of, give them a nuclear weapon, you big faker, and let's burn the elections to the ground and get some Democrats elected. That's Alex Jones, Thomas Massie, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and now Ilhan Omar full on embracing them. Here's Morning Joe saying, what do you say? Are we gonna accept Marjorie Taylor Greene?
Ilhan Omar of Minnesota says members of her party should embrace Marjorie Taylor Greene, as well as other former MAGA figures who are now breaking with President Trump.
Ilhan Omar of Minnesota, Mika Brzezinski, never been happier. They should embrace all of the former MAGA, anti-MAGA. So all the other people online, on X, ripping on Trump, saying the Jews got us into this war, and there's a ton of them on the right, they're being welcomed into the Democrat Party. Do you know why? Do you think the Democrats care about women? They don't. They don't care about America either. They don't care even about staying out of foreign wars either. They don't care. It's an opportunity for them to get power. Thomas Massie, who should know better, if you care about the Constitution, you never put an X next to a Democrat. Never support these anti-war morons. They're here to destroy MAGA, and they want to hand the country over to Democrats.
Wow. Policies. Here's what she said in a recent podcast interview.
The thing that has been very fascinating, especially about Marjorie and Candace, is that they are not just coming out like the other ones that you'd mentioned, where they're saying this action is wrong, right? They're saying, I am done with you. I think that we should give them credit for that. The fact that they've had this wake-up call to finally seeing this con man, this corrupt, chaotic man for what he is. The fact that they understand that he never really had any principles outside of uplifting his ego. The fact that they have gotten off the sycophant train and are saying, we trusted the wrong person. We are sorry for that, and we need all of you to wake up to the fact that you've also trusted the wrong person. I think is an important thing for us to put our arms around and say, yes, and now let's figure out how do we save our country from the disaster that this man is creating.
Oh, sure, unite. She's ready to put her arms around Marjorie Taylor Greene. Sorry, Marjorie Taylor Greene, you're a dumb sucker. Same with the people that are anti this war and then pretend to still be pro-MAGA. Just call it what it is. Just admit it. Come out and say it. I'm against MAGA. If you're against Trump and you're against the thing that he hung his whole job on is his work in Iran right now. His entire reputation hangs on it. And just you're against it, just go hold hands with Alex Jones, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Thomas Massie. Go vote with Ro Khanna. You'll get a big hug from into the waiting arms of this Muslim Marxist octopus is exactly where you're going and where you belong. Marjorie Taylor Greene holding hands with all the anti-MAGA, anti-war people. There's your buddy right there. Here's your patron saint.
All right. That's fascinating on about 1,000 different levels. Let's bring in MS Now senior Capitol Hill reporter and the host of Way Too Early, Ali Vitale, and opinion writer at the New York Times.
And now they're bringing in New York Times people for the commentary. Joe Scarborough calls it fascinating. He's never been happier. He goes, I see opportunity, starts licking his lips. Here's Jonah Goldberg, Rhino anti-Trumper, who I've been quoting more, and John Podhoretz. I listen to him every day at Commentary Magazine. These are anti-Trump guys, think tank. I like getting the Beltway, Washington, anti-Trump point of view so I can argue against it. Here's Jonah Goldberg. Really weird conversation on Morning Joe this morning celebrating Ilhan Omar's argument that Democrats should embrace Marjorie Taylor Greene. If there was any mention of that, Omar had said in the same sentence that Candace Owens should be similarly embraced. I missed it. Yeah, Candace Owens is next. Alex Jones too. Anything to get power. I have to ask y'all, what has happened to these people? The only sane Democrat left, you guys know his name, it's John Fetterman.
And now they are embracing more someone like Piker, too, sitting on a stage. Someone absolutely is a cheerleader for Hamas. He loves Hamas. He's proud to announce that he loves Hamas.
Piker, the guy that Ilhan Omar went on his show and embraced Hamas. So first she embraces Hamas, and now she embraces Marjorie Taylor Greene. Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Whoa. Yeah, that is actually really crazy to think. Marjorie Taylor Greene has gone super anti-Trump mode lately.
Is like the blonde American version of Hamas. That's how much Ilhan Omar loves her. Trump's only racking up wins. And I found another reasonable Democrat. This one was fun. Why is it that Harold Ford Jr. over at the 5, who's a flaming Democrat, why is it that he is now to the right of Marjorie Taylor Greene and Alex Jones? and Thomas Massey.
The market liked day 2 of the blockade, Harold, and it looks like the S&P has recovered all the losses since the beginning of the war.
So a couple of things. The market did. It recovered and continues to, because it's believing there's going to be a second meeting and believes that we may find some resolution here. There are two goals we're trying to get. And I never liked differing with DP on anything, but I didn't think Vance was particularly effective yesterday. He said that they were inches away from an agreement, but he didn't believe the people in the room were able to settle on an agreement, and they met for 21 hours. This is a 6,000-year-old civilization that feels like their country and what they represent is facing and has an existential threat posed to them. They were not going to solve this in 21 hours. I thought there was progress made there, but I wouldn't have criticized the people there in the room like you did, but maybe that's part of the strategy they have. With two goals here. First, open up the strait. That's why the market is responding as it is. And two, the most important is to ensure that they cannot make a nuclear weapon and they can't threaten us or our allies in the region. Now, I said yesterday, the blockade has been a success. It's a success because we are depriving the Iranians of money.
Now, hold on. The blockade has been a success. I'm just going to end on that note.
All right, guys, I'll have Doug's channel linked down below. Go check him out. Very well broken down by Doug. Ilhan Omar says tax filing error led to her massive net worth. That doesn't even make sense to me, but let's tune in.
So Minnesota Congresswoman Ilhan Omar insists she's not a multi-millionaire, and she's now offering an explanation in air quotes there about why her financial disclosures say she and her husband have a net worth of $30 million. Chanley Painter is here with the details. Hey, Chanley.
Hey, Charlie. So get this. The Minnesota representative, she's doubling down that she's not a millionaire after her income disclosures sent shockwaves through Capitol Hill and calls from the president for a fraud investigation. So Representative Ilhan Omar now insisting the initial numbers in the disclosure filed last May were completely off base, which was an accounting that showed her net worth of up to $30 million. But now an amended filing shows shared assets with her husband of up to just $95,000.
Now her news story is that she's only worth 95 grand. I just don't believe that.
A spokesperson saying this, quote, the amended disclosure confirms what we've all said all along. The Congresswoman is not a millionaire. Well, the original disclosure signified a stark increase in income, listing that Omar and her husband held assets valued between $6 million and $30 million, a roughly 3,500% jump in net worth from 2023 to 2024, many accrediting it to her husband's two businesses, a winery and a venture capital firm. Reportedly, aides of Omar said she did review the filing before submission, but didn't flag the errors. But Omar's lawyer is blaming the reliance of accountants for the error.
All right, take a listen here. We have breaking news.
Ohio Senator Bernie Moreno. I'm watching this market news today. And look, not everybody's invested in the stock market. But I think the president, you see in some of his comments today, he gets, it is no doubt time to turn to the home front, take care of business in Iran, return to the home front, and hit the hustings on these results.
Absolutely. Look, the reality is the stock market's up 20% from a year ago. 20%. There's no country on earth that has those kind of returns. And then we're seeing tax refunds go up 11%. He's making generational changes, whether in Latin America and the Middle East, and it's going to pay off big time.
Even one of you guys messaged me saying that your investments are up over 13 grand. I'm up over $32,000. And right now, we have a free offer. Or you can take out your phone right now and scan this code. Open up your camera app. Just download the app. It's totally free. You can get started today. And watch my free investing tutorial too. I break down everything that I'm buying. So Ilhan Omar's getting canceled right now for what she's saying about women in Iran. Take a listen, especially amidst this war.
And we know that what Trump calls his strength is his idea of liberating women in Iran is to bomb and murder school children.
That is what she's claiming. That's what she's saying, coming out and saying Trump is doing at a No Kings rally, which wasn't the Ayatollah a king? Wasn't Maduro a king? But President Trump isn't one. Ilhan Omar called President Trump an unhinged lunatic while demanding his removal from office over his determination to win in Iran. The other week, Omar refused to condemn anti-protesters for flying the Islamic Republic of Iran outside the White House. Take a listen, my friends. This reporter is coming up to her How do you think she'll respond?
Congresswoman, will you condemn the anti-Trump protesters who flew the Islamic Republic of Iran flag outside the White House and shouted open border obscenities? Are you sure you don't want to condemn the anti-Trump protesters for flying the Islamic Republic of Iran flag outside the White House?
Wow, that is insane, guys. Doug in Exile, I will have his channel link below. Let's listen in, guys.
Ilhan Omar is in hot water after showing up on left-wing lunatic Hassan Piker's channel in an interview. I'll explain who he is and tell you why anyone on his show has poisoned their political career. Welcome to Doug in Exile. This is where the happy patriots are. This is what I mean by these left-wing lunatics, and the more anti-Semitic you are, the more wipeout crazy you go. So this is going to be Ilhan Omar on Hassan Piker's show during the interview. So this Hassan Piker guy is trying to make her out to be the victim. And will her constituents remember this in November?
Oh, God.
Is
No.
this one.
May Allah awaken the people and help them to see the evil doings of Israel and the United States.
Have you ever seen, I'm sure you're familiar with this. You've heard this.
I've seen the video, yeah.
You've seen the video?
Yeah,
Okay.
at his rallies.
Yes.
But was that the Lion King sound at the end?
No, it's a dude.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Lisan Al-Gaib sound.
Okay.
So I feel like this was a major fake controversy, manufactured outrage that took place many years ago. When Donald Trump would go on rallies and say that and basically put your face up on the Megatron, on the big televisions. Basically putting a bounty out on your head.
And they chant like "send her back."
Send her back.
Received a tremendous amount of racial animus, racial vitriol come your direction. And yet
it's not racial animus. Look, she's a beautiful woman. I don't even care what her race is, really. I don't care what Hassan Piker's race is either. I don't care what mine is either. Why can't it just be what she does, says, and believes? Same thing with Hassan Piker. Why can't it just be what you do, say, and believe that I have a problem with? Or are you only criticizing Donald Trump because you're a racist? I doubt it. I wouldn't accuse you of that.
You were very resilient. You were very steadfast in your approach. It's one of the reasons why we love you and appreciate what you've done. Like, how do you feel now that this is the official majority position, not only in the base of the party, but just like the majority position in the United States of America? Did you ever think that we would get here?
No, I didn't think we would get here, and I don't know if I feel confident that we will stay here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I say that because I don't know if you remember in the 2020 presidential election, you had all of these people that pulled out of going to the AIPAC conference.
Yeah.
Do you remember this?
I think so. Yeah.
So she's encouraged that people are not going to continue to be racist or stop liking her because they agreed to pull out of the AIPAC conference, which is where all the Jew money comes from. So she's trying to say that's a sign in their attacking AIPAC, which Marjorie Taylor Greene does, Megyn Kelly does, Tucker Carlson does, Candace Owens does, Thomas Massey does, says how his opponent is funded by AIPAC. When people pull out of AIPAC, Ilhan Omar is happy. So is Hassan Piker. It becomes a symbol to them that things are improving. Now I'm going to get into Hassan Piker because this guy is just a monster. This is what I mean by he's a disaster for her career, and I'm fine with that. Michigan Democrat. This is the U.S. candidate Abdul El Sayed defends Hassan Piker. So this is the one where Ilhan Omar, all the Democrats are trying to get on his show. He's there, Joe Rogan. He's there, Tucker Carlson. Hassan Piker for saying America deserved 9/11.
Oh, wow. That is too far.
Hassan Piker said America deserved 9/11, and it doesn't matter if RAPEs happen on October 7th. If little girls got sexually assaulted on October 7th. El Said said, it's important to talk about the context, is what the Democrat people always say. Here's Hassan Piker. I can't even repeat this. He says, kill the mother effers, let the streets soak in their red capitalist blood. He's a communist, hardcore communist, and Democrats continue to campaign with him. This is as of April 6th, 6 days ago. But wait, there's more. When Ilhan Omar and Hassan Piker are defending the Islamic regime, again, I can't show you half these videos. They're so awful. This is what he says about women. I'm just going to play. Now, it's in his language, so he says, and that's like cows and sheep. God created them so that people have food. This is how he describes women. God created one more type of animal, and that is woman, Ilhan Omar. They're just like cows and sheep. They are animals. God has only created them for men to use. But
well, the thing is, with the whole Iranian war and everything that Marjorie Taylor Greene and Candace and Megyn Kelly and Tucker and Alex Jones are pissed at Trump for, and all the libs, is that they don't realize that Trump is talking to horrible killers, murderers, terrorists. And, oh, Trump used a cuss word. He can't cuss on Easter Sunday. It's like, are you really offended that Trump cussed at a terrorist?
God created these women to look like human so that they wouldn't frighten men, apparently, as we use them. Aside from that, women are just like cows, sheep, horses, and mules. This is who the Democrats, Ilhan Omar, is happy to see this continue to expand. Now, I'm just going to go to Marjorie Taylor Greene for a second, because she's ripping on Lindsey Graham and trying to run against Trump here for supporting Lindsey Graham. And here's how this guy answers Marjorie Taylor Greene. If you could have been as easy to work with and disciplined as Lindsey Graham, maybe you wouldn't have failed as a U.S. representative. Politics is a negotiation, including with Graham. What could Trump do with just 10% of the Republican Party when he needs the whole thing? Marjorie Taylor Greene represents 10% of the Republican Party. So does Thomas Massie, and same with the anti-Lindsey Graham people. He doesn't need to try and abandon 90% of his party to try and capture 10%. Here's Scott Jennings on how this is simply a matter of majorities that joining socialists, Democrats, and pro-Islamic regime people, even on the right, is not how you're going to win anything. You're not going to win or influence anything. Here's Scott Jennings.
A lot of Trump voters out in America who listen to them. Maybe not all of them, but some listen to Tucker, some listen to Megyn, some listen to Joe Rogan, some still listen to Alex Jones.
10%.
This is going to hurt.
I mean, we're treating Alex Jones like a credible voice here. We're treating Tucker Carlson like a credible voice.
I don't consider Alex Jones a credible voice, but there are people, you travel the country and talk to Trump voters who do.
Okay, so let's just say you're right, and some people listen to them. Who do you think they listen to more? Those people or President Donald Trump? I know what the polling says, and I know what my instincts tell me is that Donald Trump runs the party, he runs the country, not the podcasters. They're welcome to have opinions, and I don't begrudge anybody having an opinion, and you could have a different opinion than Donald Trump. But I know who has more influence over the Republican Party and the conservative movement, and there's no doubt about it, and there has never been any doubt about it.
Let's start off with Tucker Carlson, who has been in absolute free fall with Republicans. I mean, just take a look at this. Look at this trend line. Tucker Carlson's net favorable. Back in March of 2024, when he and Donald Trump were very close friends, look at this. He was at plus 54 points. Look at where he is today at only plus 7 points among Republicans, and that includes GOP-leaning independents. I mean, that is a drop of, 47 percentage points. My goodness gracious, when you go up against Donald Trump and you want to appeal to the Republican base, to quote the movie Good Burger, you go on the grinder, and that is exactly...
Remember that, guys. If you're going to join these right-wing lunatics or left-wing lunatics and try and go against Trump, you'll go down just like Tucker Carlson to about 7% in the party. And finally, here we are on Ilhan Omar's real history with a photo some of you may not have seen. This guy on the left is Siad Barre, was a genocidal Islamic communist dictator who murdered up to 200,000 Isaac civilians in Somalia. Ilhan Omar's father, down there in the lower right hand, Nur Omar Mohammed, was a colonel under Barre for decades. That's why Omar's family fled Somalia. They were complicit with Islamic communist genocide. And now you know the truth about Ilhan Omar. Spread it around to your friends. I'm Doug in exile.
Whoa, that's crazy, guys. Fox News is reporting that an African nation is calling for Representative Ilhan Omar to be extradited.
Well, while Democrats fail to protect innocent Americans, they were busy using yesterday's protests to trash President Trump.
Donald Trump just has not chipped away at our democracy. He has taken a wrecking ball to the very foundation of what makes America great.
Do you believe Trump is taking a wrecking ball to America right now? Do you agree with Ilhan Omar?
We have an administration that is openly and brazenly breaking the law and is acting like the Constitution is optional. And while they are doing that, they are shamefully and blatantly lying about every single thing they are doing.
But according to Vice President J.D. Vance, it's Omar who's doing the lying. Vance said that this week that he thinks Omar definitely committed immigration fraud and is now looking to build a case against her. A spokesperson for Omar called the accusation, quote, ridiculous lie. But the tiny African nation of Somaliland, different than Somalia, is ready to help and is calling for Omar to be extradited to them. I say let's do it. Okay. All right. Joey, so the allegation here that's been made is that Omar entered into a sham civil marriage with her alleged brother.
Hey, we do have breaking news from President Trump. Let's tune in.
Sir, what are your top priorities now for the economy for the rest of the year?
To be honest, we are doing so well. You look at this. I hit the 50,000 Dow mark, which everyone said couldn't happen in 4 years. I did it in 1 year. I hit the 7,000 S&P mark in less than 1 year, which was a number, as you know, you reported it. They said if at the end of 4 years you hit those numbers, I did it at the end of a year.
One of you guys even messaged me saying that you are up almost $14,000 since investing in the stock market. Personally, I'm up over $30,000 just from investing into very low risk stocks. And you don't need a lot of money to get started. We actually do have a completely free app that you can sign up for right now with the link below. Or you can take out your phone, scan your QR code with your camera app and click the link to get started. I also have an investing tutorial below which you can follow along, and I go over everything that I'm buying. It's very beginner friendly and easy. You can start with just a few dollars. You know, we are seeing record-breaking highs. The stock market is hitting record highs right now. While Trump is still president, I'm going to be investing heavy into the market. I just personally trust President Trump right now. And if you've never invested before, don't worry. You can start with just a few dollars. Your future self, your children, or your grandchildren will thank you for taking this completely free step.